seems oddly familiar. This sounds like.
Have you saved my name?
Yeah, of course I showed your name.
You've saved my name.
Yeah, I think we're there.
Okay.
Because me and Sean met on what I like to call a comedy mandate, which I feel you must have quite a few in the comedy industry.
Yes.
I
know what you mean, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I don't think it happens in other industries.
Well, how would you know?
Well, you can. I feel you can use your imagination and your rational willpower to kind of imagine how some other industries work. I don't feel mechanics are being like seeing another mechanic and think.
Yeah, so what you mean is freelancers?
I don't even think freelance. I think there's a specific thing with comedy. Like, I don't think freelance graphic designers aren't strolling around during the middle of the day. I would stake a claim that it's a specific comedy thing.
Okay.
Because we're all comedians, there's just the beginning bit's taken out. You don't have to get that beginning bit. Like, I've often had comedy mandates where you'll gig with someone once, you'll see 2 minutes of their set and you'll like it. You can message them and then you can spend a day with them, and it's like you've...
That's very true, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so like a sort of, we get to do if it was a dating app, we get to do our bio on stage.
Exactly.
So I get to see your bio. What was that?
It's my notebook.
You sort of did that almost as if you were trying to do it without me seeing you. It was
because I didn't want you to stop talking and talk about me leaning over and grabbing the notebook, but clearly, so
well, you need to work on that.
Like, clearly, yeah.
You need to work on that. So yeah.
I think that's why you can have comedy mandates, comedy dates of any sort.
Yes.
But I personally find it very funny. I've had many, and I'm sure you've had many, where you've literally just seen someone gig once and then you just spend a day with them. And I don't think it happens in other things. Because it is true.
You don't think mechanics do that?
I don't think they do
that clear.
Because I think...
You don't think everyone like Gary looks at Paul and goes, fucking hell, mate, the way you fix that exhaust pipe, that's the only bit of a car that I know besides wheel and windows. All right, why you've done that with the exhaust pipe, mate? Do you want to go for a mocker?
They'll be friends, exactly. They'll be friends if they work in the car shop together and they get to see each other every day.
Yeah.
But if you're in another car shop getting your car fixed, 10 miles down the road, and you really like the way the mechanic did, you could not then say, I'm a mechanic, you're a mechanic, let's connect on Facebook and network, you know? There's not, do you know what I mean?
I was wondering if you wanted to meet up and go over some ideas about how we could fix cars more efficiently.
And on our comedy mandate, it felt like you'd been around the block a few times. It felt like...
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Fair enough. I felt used. I'd been used. This guy's been used.
Yeah. I just kind of, you know, I feel like if you're on a date with someone and they're very experienced, you're like, okay, this is... They go into the same... They've clearly gone to the same bar.
Is this the date where you said... Is this the date where you made me laugh because you said, I look like... Or one of us said, I don't know if I said it or you said it, but it was said that you look like someone that's been punched a lot.
Oh, no, that's me about myself. Yeah, and you think I should open with this.
I said you should open with that.
Because I'm trying to work it out, because it's...
It doesn't need much working out, does it? You do look like someone that's been punched a lot.
I look like someone...
I like you and I want to punch you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like... I have a face that... Basically, a lot of people assume that I've been punched in the face a lot. And I've only been punched once. And it was when someone thought I was someone else. It doesn't really count.
See, that's hilarious.
Did
you not try that?
I never tried it.
I find it really disrespectful that I've been going 14 years and I say to you, after going for 14 years, oh, I think you should try that. And you don't. If someone 14 years my senior... in the comedy world.
If you're, can we do it with a mechanic analogy, please, just so I can understand it better?
If someone who had been fixing cars for 14 years, and how long have you been fixing cars?
I've been fixing cars, not if you count the pandemic, about 5 years.
Oh God, the pandemic! Oh God, I've heard this. People going, well, actually, it was a pandemic, so I've only been going.
Well, if you've been
22 years. Oh, shut up!
No, 22 years. Shut up! You've been going to. If you've been going like 4 or 5 years, then that's a quarter of your time doing comedy was in the pandemic. That means something.
But I could go because grew up in Brighton, and I started in Brighton, so I could go, oh, well, I'll be going 14 years. But actually, I grew up in Brighton, so there weren't that many gigs when I started, so I actually did like one a month. So actually, I've been going...
That counts, I think. I think you can do that.
I can't write more than I will.
Because my first gig was 6 months later than my second gig. So...
yeah, mine was...
exactly. So you're not going to say you've got an experience of like 6 months. It feels like you should count when you're gigging properly. Anyway, the mechanic analogy that I should listen to. You're an old mechanic. You've been going years.
And I've noticed this with the younger people. Yeah. Younger, the comics that are newer. Maybe it's just me, but I get... And it's quite a young person thing, isn't it? Anyone older than you is telling you something and you think, you don't know anymore. I'm it. I'm now, and you were then.
That's fully you going off on a complete tangent.
Why haven't you tried it?
I haven't tried. I will try it.
Like
because I haven't found the word.
Loads, and you've only been punched in the face once, and it's because they thought you were someone else. It's crazy.
It is.
Why has no one punched you? That's
it's
what
true.
I want to know.
It's true.
Why has no one punched you? Get away. I imagine it's only because you managed to run.
It's not because I run. I feel it's because of I don't know.
What must it feel like? I mean, basically, right?
Yeah. You look like you punch people in the face. By the way.
I?
Yeah, you got some of the. You got a look.
Someone yesterday said I look like a footballer.
Yeah. You look like a footballer who wouldn't make
an orange wall.
You wouldn't. Yeah, I know. You've done comedy. You've been gentrified, but you look like a footballer who wouldn't play in the Premier League now because his skill set isn't relevant. Funny. You're like a 70s footballer when it was like...
I'm not going to say...
Yeah.
You can take that analogy and just do the comedy.
Yeah.
I always say that.
You're like a 70s comedian.
I think if I had been around in the 90s, that this wouldn't be a flat.
This would be a house.
This would be very much a house.
Have you heard this? Well, obviously, the stories of like the Jongleurs days, where you'd have comedians who do the same 20 minutes for 10 years, and they get paid like 500 quid a weekend. Back when 500 quid was $2 grand.
Yeah, totally. I know.
And people have just built, and they've never had to write an act. Really, they've had one act, and that's it.
And a great act.
A great act. But it's just like a.
Yeah, I know.
It feels weird to me, dude. If you do have like that's your 20 minutes. For 10 years, that's when I feel comedy would become an unbelievably depressing slog.
Hang on, sorry. You feel like something had become a depressing slog?
If I had to do
the time that you weren't around.
Yeah, that's why I say I feel, not I know.
Yeah, but how? What? No, but you don't feel. You think.
I think. There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you. See, I'm learning so much from the older mechanic. You don't feel, you think. That's what I need to be told.
Chaplin says that we think too much and feel too little.
Yes.
And I actually disagree with Charles.
Yeah, go on.
But I think that we feel too much and think too little. There we go.
That's
Charlie.
pretty good. That's a nice.
Have that, mate.
That's a nice one.
What did he know?
Carry
on. I'm gonna fill up with water. Do you want me to?
Can you fill mine up as well? Yeah. So on our first meeting, which is in the brief time we met, you brought up something that I found quite interesting.
Oh no!
Don't worry, there's nothing bad. I was saying the implication I got from some of the things you were
invidious.
Nothing. You complained about. I thought you were implying that when you get what you want, it's disappointing, but. But that's what I thought you were implying, and then you corrected me in an interesting way, which was no. Every single time in my career, when I've got something that I really wanted, it was just as fucking great as I thought it was going to be. So when you first did Live at the Apollo, it was just amazing. It was when you did the shitty things that you didn't want to do that they were shit.
Yeah,
and that's what I found quite appealing because it feels like the kind of cliche. Is comedians who had success will talk about, you get what you want, and then it
doesn't fill the hole.
It doesn't fill the hole. But you said it did fill the hole in the time you got it.
Yeah.
Because I
think it did fill the hole.
Yeah. And which was great for me to hear. Because I assumed that I was going to learn that everything I'm trying for, when I get it, I'll just feel empty. But you said it was kind of as good as you thought it would be.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I know, and then it was tarnished by decisions I made in my youth that I shouldn't have made, and then whenever I decided to do something, and it wasn't purely because that was something that I wanted to do. What are you checking that?
Just checking, just making sure.
You do what I do. Sorry, not what I do. You do what every human being does. Is as soon as someone else is talking, you check something else.
Yeah, because it was
was
good
the
stuff, and I was trying to make sure that this is all
I
getting
do that.
recorded.
As soon as someone else is talking, I can't help but check.
Yeah.
Just have I got a text?
No, but this is not have I got
It's a-
text. This is making sure that what you're saying will exist. It's not
Yeah.
the same
But
as
it's
have
still-
I got
yeah,
a
but-
text.
But you didn't think that when you were talking. It was only when I were talking, your brain went, now I better check.
Yeah, I guess so. But I okay. Back to what you were saying.
Don't know what I was saying.
Now we've lost it.
Yeah.
You were saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything that I wanted to do
Yeah.
was wonderful and fantastic, but I did too many things that I shouldn't have done that were it was just young and it makes sense that I made those decisions, but you look back and you go, I shouldn't have. I should have held out, and I should have. I'm not like a lot of people, I think, that could just do whatever they could just say yes to everything and sort of excel on it. I wasn't like that. I was.
You got specific.
And am limited.
Did it take you a while to realise you're limited? Because you're very good.
No, it didn't. It didn't. I knew I was
certain
limited
things.
then.
You're very good at certain things.
That's thank you.
Yeah.
But and I should have. If I just thought I can't do this,
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done it. I don't think I would do that now. I don't think I would. If I just thought, I won't be any good on that, I just wouldn't do it.
Yeah. But you did Live at the Apollo when you were 24, which is my age, which is crazy to think of. And how was...
Sorry, have you researched that, or did I say that?
You told me that.
Yeah,
You told me
was it
quite
like
like worrying amount of times, actually.
It's all I say.
It's all you
It's
say.
actually all I say to people.
Did you research that?
What
No, Sean.
What I tell people.
You message me that
Is,
regularly.
Mark Simmons, who's one of my best friends and an amazing comedian, is he once said to me that I was the best open spot he's ever seen. I loved that so much. That's the thing I tell people the most.
Really?
And I even texted.
You're hanging around
I
open
texted
mics.
to Romesh the other day. And I said, I am the greatest open spot of all time.
And he's like,
no
sorry,
one will
I'm
ever take
busy,
that away
I'm
from
doing
me.
TV right now.
He didn't reply. He hasn't replied to me in years. But
He used to open for you, didn't he?
he used to open for me.
Yeah.
I know. I actually genuinely open for him, but it's a pleasure.
Yeah,
It's great.
it's quite nice, I can imagine.
Oh, man, you go out. Everyone's so
There's people.
excited. There's people. Honestly. Yeah, they're there.
But then to see comedy, not to eat a buffet at a Chinese. It's a thrill.
It's great, and I genuinely would. No, I can't say that.
Go on.
No, I can't say that. It's too.
Come on. This is Boys
No,
Gone
I'm
Wild.
not putting that
Okay,
energy into the world. It's
All
got,
right.
you've got to be more positive because
Okay.
it was a negative thing. But
Okay.
It was
But in general,
not about Rom, about me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep it positive.
Yeah.
Because this is actually a men's mental and physical health podcast. That's actually what I always say.
Need one of those.
This is what this is. This is a men's.
Thank God.
This is a men's mental and physical
thank
health.
God.
That's all this is. It's
Oh.
fundamentally, it's on the surface a comedy podcast, but the underlying themes
I know
is
what
a
we
men's
should do.
wellness
We
podcast.
should do a men's wellness podcast, right? About mental health.
Okay.
And off the back of that, you're not allowed to come and see us live. I think that would be a good idea.
Because it would help our mental health.
I think that if you're doing a mental health podcast, then no one can come and you're not allowed to gain from it. So you can't. So if someone comes to the show, I saw you
it
from
would be
your mental health-
it's disingenuous.
You go, oh, thanks for coming. I heard you on the mental health podcast. You can't come in.
Hey, how about this? We can keep our careers, but instead we go anonymous. So you know when they're interviewing like SAS people about their raids, and they shot in a dark room so you can't see them, and their voice is distorted. You know this.
Yeah.
Us two,
Yeah.
with balaclavas on, voices disturbingly distorted.
Yeah.
So they can't. There's no way.
Yes, that's it. That's the answer.
So they don't know who it is. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter who it is. And it's like really terrifying.
Yeah,
I think that would be great because also us talking about like I've been trying to run, exercise more, like trying to talk about like just basic men's wellness stuff, but with a terrifyingly distorted voice would be an excellent choice.
What's in this book?
Well, just some.
You spelt my name with one N.
You've got two N's in your name. Shut up. No,
You don't know that.
You don't. No, you don't.
I do.
Do you actually?
Yeah.
Well, that's,
My
you spelt it wrong.
yeah.
They spelt it wrong.
Did you really? No, I had two N's.
Is it? No.
My name is Seann Walsh with two N's.
Does you pronounce it any differently?
Seann and Walsh.
It's Seann Walsh. Yeah.
One N is on my passport. Two N's is my stage name.
Oh, did you add the N?
When I was 16, because American Pie was my favourite film. Stifler was my favourite character. He was played by Seann William Scott. He has two N's in his name.
Okay.
Voila.
Do you regret that?
No.
Okay, great.
It's led to fantastic anecdotes.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like this, like liquid podcasting. We actually have a similarity, I feel.
What?
In that we are both
Quite
nasally,
husky.
Yeah, definitely a slight nasal. We're both half Sussex, half London.
Oh, okay.
I was born in London.
My God, it's like we're twins.
Exactly.
Oh
Well,
my
I'm
God.
saying it's a very subtle dual heritage.
Sussex, not even East Sussex.
East Sussex.
East Sussex. Okay,
East Sussex.
but not Brighton. You've got to be careful.
Lewis.
Did I know that about you?
Probably.
I feel like that's something I would have remembered.
Yeah, I tried to tell you.
But I was.
You were constantly telling me how you're the best open spot that anyone's ever seen. I couldn't get a word in edgeways, to be honest.
Lovely Apollo 24.
24, yeah. You're 24, are you? When I was 24. So you are half
Probably
London.
was 24.
Yeah.
Anyway, half London. Yeah. By that point, I wasn't an open spot. So
we go.
it was over.
So when did you... were you born in London? Or born in
Yes,
Sussex?
I was born in Hampstead.
Same.
Okay. Royal free?
Huh? No.
No. Fine.
I'm just saying, it's it's about creating links.
No, I like this. So you're born in Hampstead,
Yeah.
but not to the Royal Free Hospital.
No.
Then what happened?
I lived in London for 12 years. My parents split. My dad stayed in London. I moved down to Lewis with my mother.
Why did she go to Lewis?
Because that's where she's from. No, she's from Sussex, but she wanted to live in Lewis.
Yeah. So
Family out there.
my
And what's your genesis?
Camden, and then my nan passed away, and my granddad had already passed away. So there was the house.
Yeah.
And so Mum and Dad decided to move to that house in Lewisham, very small house in Lewisham. And then when I was 11, my mum wanted to move to Brighton, just loved Brighton for all the Brighton reasons.
Yeah.
Lots of gay friends,
Yeah.
etc. And so we moved to Brighton, and then that was it.
How old were you when you moved?
Yeah, 10. I say 11, I think 10.
So it's around the same times, but it was so. And I think I'm.
It was traumatic.
I was upset with it at the time, but I'm so glad I didn't grow up in London.
Oh my God, yeah.
I like people from Sussex. They're much more genuine.
I've never known anyone to describe anywhere really as a county. You like the people of Sussex. What is this?
Well,
I love the people of Herefordshire.
No, because I'm trying to claim, and I'm interested in what you think, that there is potentially a subtle Sussex sense of humour.
Oh.
So when you think,
right.
when
By
you
the way,
think,
interestingly, I've not observed this, so this is an exclusive for me, and I'm very much intrigued.
So when you think Liverpool, there's especially in the north, every town has an identity, and they believe, there's a sense of humour. You go to Birmingham, there's a Birmingham sense of humour.
You're talking about cities. That's normal. What you're saying.
Black Country, Lancashire, there's still sense of humours for areas. Welsh sense of humour.
Country.
I'm stating a claim that for this area, there's definitely a sense of humour. And I feel it's a subtle sense of humour, but Ramesh Ranganathan is from Sussex. He has a Sussex accent, which is a rare find.
Yeah.
A slight Sussex accent. How he sounds is what I believe is the closest to a Sussex accent. James Ellis has the most Sussex accent there is.
No T's.
No T's.
No T's.
Lazy.
Brighton. Not Brighton.
Paul. They'll say Paul.
Yeah, spot on.
Paul.
That's my brother.
Paul.
How you're talking now is my...
Paul.
All right, okay.
It's like lazy Cockney people. Because Cockney people have... They round off. They're like, you're right, geezer, you're right. There's a lot of sharpness like that.
But sound like everyone at my agency.
Yeah. You're right, Sean. But instead it's like just kind of lazy and it kind of drop. But then it's not as... It's quite like... It's not even as like aggressively working class. It's like... Just like sort of... Classless.
No, you had it. It's
regionless.
It is class. It's quite classless and it's regionless. But it is. You're absolutely right. It's very, very lazy.
Yeah.
There's they all mumble.
Yeah.
Everyone in Brighton mumbles.
Mumbles. Yeah.
I'm thinking all my Brightonian mates from my brother.
Yeah.
Working class, but to my middle class friends like Gabriel or everyone.
Yeah, Gabriel. Yeah.
Gabe. James Gabriel Foster.
Sure.
Pryor.
Yeah. If you have 5 first names, then you're definitely...
I bet you know what a Steiner school is.
Yes.
Yeah. Not everyone knows what that is.
No.
But yeah, so
I grew up in North London. Like, that's the home of Steiner schools. That's where...
Everyone just looks absolutely... It's just a circus, people.
Yeah. It's a terrible thing to do to your child. Why would you... You will never understand reality properly again. Here we go. You can instead of maths, how about finger painting? And also, you won't be able to have a loving relationship with anyone who's had a normal upbringing for the rest of your life. Right. You'll never understand any mainstream TV.
Yeah. So your
Steiner schools, by the way, are like hippie schools where it's like we're going to do different sorts of learning, where the kids get to decide. Well, there's Montessori. I don't know.
I don't know about Montessori.
But I think they call it the Steiner, and that's right, isn't it? They're like schools where the kids get to choose what they do. So
I've never heard about that element of it. The only bit that always sticks out to me is the class. I don't know if this is a myth, but the classrooms aren't allowed edges, and all the classes around. All the rooms around, no edges.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to box off a child's imagination,
Exactly.
but you should box off a child's imagination.
Steiner.
It's called school.
Yes, Steiner school is. You can immediately know that you're talking to someone that went to a Steiner school when you're talking to them.
Yeah,
because they will be.
Because they've got one eye looking somewhere else.
No, because that sounds like a biological thing. It will be more likely that they're dressed as a caterpillar. What are you doing?
Lost.
Dressed as a caterpillar.
Yeah. No, but they wouldn't even say it's caterpillar. They're wearing Monday clothes, you know.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
But I don't have a Sussex accent because I grew up in London. But from my observations, I do feel
you're spot on.
It's more, you know, when there's northern comedians whose a lot of their act is discussing. They have an impression of their dad. They talk about growing up in the north. There's like such a clear. Or they'll talk about their friend at school and they'll have like a clear impression of what a northern friend, Northern Irish people, when they talk about their school days. When you're in the home counties, it's kind of identityless.
Sorry, whilst we're here, can you explain to me what the home counties?
Home counties are all the counties around London.
And why are they called the home counties?
Because I don't know.
You don't know?
Fine. I don't know.
Fine.
But they don't have much of an identity because it's just the South. It's not like. There's not as much of an entity, but I do feel if you're doing an impression of a school friend at Sussex, it's normally just kind of like nasally like this.
Yeah.
Or something. That's what I would, if I was doing a bit and I was talking about someone at school, the go-to bit, the voice would probably be something like, "You alright, mate?" This kind of like, everyone I felt in Sussex had this kind of bored like look with a lot of weight. On the top of their head. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
those kind of like... I found them hilarious. I think people in Sussex have a kind of funny thing where they're kind of chilled out.
Yes.
They don't have the London franticness of
Yeah.
who's your dad, can I get a job? Life's relatively nice there, but they're all just a bit kind of like just chilled out and a bit bored.
Yes, and
Not violent, not aggressive, bored and lazy.
like forgot to have breakfast.
Yeah. But no one's talking about the specificity of Sussex.
no
I think it is. Essex has that. There's loads of people talking about Essex.
I really like this.
Yeah, there's loads of people talking about Essex, and I'm sort of collecting Sussex comedians. So that there's Ron Ranganathan, James Ellis, who I've only seen perform once, has the most Sussex accent of anyone I've ever heard.
Just vowels.
Just vowels. He sounds like my uncle. The most Sussex I've ever heard anyone. And then Sean McLaughlin, though he doesn't have as much of a Sussex accent, has, I feel, a Sussex sense of humour. His brand of self-deprecation, I feel.
Is Sean?
He's
when
Brighton.
I started out, Sean was, or I'd been going a year or something, but he was starting out in Brighton. But is Sean actually from Brighton?
I think so.
No, Sean has to do, I think,
Go on.
I can say this.
Yeah.
I think Sean has to do what I do, which is project on stage,
Yeah.
project forcibly the energy,
Yeah.
right? So that he can be clear, so that people can hear him, because in real life he's also a bit mumbly in that Sussex way.
He's from Brighton.
So I was saying this to someone the other day, how envious I was that they could
Enunciate.
basically enunciate,
Yeah.
that they could talk as themselves. Whereas if I go on and go, hello,
Hello.
how are you?
What?
What? So I was in the shop the other day, and there was a woman, and she came up to me. It's like, what?
But
so I have to go, hello, I'm here.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
why.
talk from here.
That's why you
So it's
have.
not a put on voice.
That's
I don't
why
put
the
on-
Seann Walsh Stadium, the kind of the Seann Walsh,
Yeah.
that voice of
so-
like, you know when you're shot, yeah, that kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's totally, no, and that's so that it's clear. It's not like I don't know, it's
Yeah.
not influenced by any other decision apart from this is how I have to talk for people to understand me.
Yeah, and I think I said to you, which you didn't know if you found you liked it, but it was meant very much as a compliment. But I would stake the claim that you're the last of the DVD comics. Do you remember this?
I've now can confirm that I don't like it.
You don't like
if there was any ambiguity, then
because
I can confirm that I don't.
you were the youngest of that era,
I think Daniel Sloss is younger than me, isn't he?
but he's not. I don't think he doesn't.
You have to be careful about what you're going to say, because it might because he's still.
No. It's because he didn't fit in that era really.
I suppose he didn't then.
No, he was, but he was the kind
What
of,
you mean?
but it's just like you're with that whole crowd.
So right, and the best open spot of all time,
Best open spot of all time,
and the last
of the DVD comics. Obviously, it's
like
more
that.
of a
I quite
dramatic.
like
It's a
this.
that would be a great show title, The Last of the DVD Comics. But obviously, that
It
era
wouldn't
is,
be my style. I wouldn't, because it's too like sort of but it's very funny.
Yeah, I just think in my head, because I watched you on TV. Because I watched you on.
Greatest open spot of all time.
Because
The
I
last
watched
of
you
the
on
DVD
TV
comics.
when I was growing up with John Bishop, Michael McIntyre, Russell Howard, Sean Locke. Because I watched you in that. You literally came just before that era died and have jumped into the new era. You still in my head exist partly in that era, even though you're not really from there.
No.
But you have the style, this unique style of British observational humour of the noughties. You still have it and do it very, very, very well. But no one does it anymore.
Yeah. And what am I meant to say?
What an astute observation.
Okay. What an astute observation. And but well, the thing is, I don't know now what we're talking about. I know what I've understood everything you've said,
Yeah.
but I don't know what I'm meant to say, because there were compliments in that, so I could just say, thank you.
That's absolutely
Or
fine.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, I
Yeah.
agree.
And with the style, would you say there is a style of British observational comedy compared to American observational comedy?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Which is like the sort of mainstream Britain, mainstream America. Obviously, the alt scenes are very, very different, but the kind of mainstream approach of observational comedy, I think, has a very different style in America than it does to Britain.
But, okay, the difficulty I have is talking about this is that a style, I suppose, is sort of received. What are you looking for? So you did it when I was talking again.
Yeah, I'm
do
still
it next
listening.
time. Do it when you're talking.
Okay.
You want to check that? Do
Yeah.
it when you're talking.
I'm talking right now.
And I know I wasn't talking because I was thinking.
Yeah, and you actually, go on.
You're not. I suppose I wasn't conscious of a style. Now that's not to say that because I wasn't conscious, it doesn't mean that one doesn't have a style. But I grew up, and there was Lee Evans, and there was Jack D, and there was Lee Hurst, and there was Jeff Green, and I would say that those were the stand-up comedians that I grew up watching. So when I wanted to do it, there's absolutely, and I'm talking about like I was fucking 12, going, that's what I want to do. So you think that I want to do it, and I want to do what they do.
Yeah.
So I think I would be lying if I didn't say that. It's a very creepy thing to say because I'm actually, friends with Jack and worked with Jack in sitcoms and stuff. You can look at that if I'm talking. I'll allow that, but you can't check it.
That's the agreement.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll both look at it, actually.
The problem is I put it the wrong way around, so I can't see any information because it's tilted away.
Turn it round.
That's sorted everything
Okay.
out. Perfect.
Are we still going to look at it?
I'm going to occasionally check it because I'm also a producer of my own pod. So
Fair enough.
I'm doing two jobs.
That's the modern era.
Yeah.
But those people are, if you're watching them from the age of 11, you're actually watching them, they're going to be part of you. Really, it's really weird and it's really creepy. But I spent so much time with watching Lee Evans over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Yeah. Just like I did Jack D, just like I did Lee Hurst. This wasn't like YouTube clips. You had to rewind the fucking tape.
The DVD.
No, the videotape.
Oh, the videotape.
Yeah.
Comics.
I'm at school.
Okay, yeah.
The VHS comic.
Yeah, the VHS.
And rewind their tapes, and and you watch them, and you're just obsessing with them, but not with this sort of academic take on it, but just the. So I suppose I am influenced by.
But
that,
when we spoke,
what I do is shaped out of what I do is certainly shaped out of what they do.
For sure, but I think what we talked about it, and you don't have as much influence from American comedy.
Oh, not at all. No, God no.
And that's what a lot of new British comics have.
Yes,
and that's why you stand out.
That's not. Oh yes, I remember this conversation, and that's nice.
Which is great. And I'm certainly very, very influenced by American comedy and British comedy, but not British mainstream comedy. I'm influenced by British alt comedy and American mainstream.
What's British alt comedy? Talk to me like I don't know what we're talking about, because I kind of don't really know what's going on now. I don't know what's going on now because this is what we're talking about, and you were sort of explaining to me who everyone was, and so I don't really know. I just turn up, try and make people laugh, watch whoever's on if I can, and that's all I do.
It's true. Well, the reason I was bringing it up with you is because what I like about you is that you really, really like stand-up as an art, as a craft.
How would you know that?
Because you don't stop talking about it. Stop acting how you post stories every day. Don't act like paranoid, like I'm sneaking and finding. You talk about it constantly, Sean.
Yeah.
And there's a pet hate of mine. A lot of comedians that are coming up, they don't actually particularly like stand-up that much. They like doing stand-up. I know quite a few comedians who it feels to me that it feels like weirdly masturbatory, the idea that they enjoy the act of doing stand-up, but they don't like seeing other people do it as much or know that much about it. But you seem like a stand-up nerd.
Well, I'm not now. But I really was.
Yeah.
And I was completely obsessed, and I would go to Comedia every Sunday.
Yeah.
And if a friend wouldn't come, it didn't matter. That's fine. Well, if you just want to go to the pub, go to the pub. I'm going on my own. Yeah. And I would go, and it got to the point where the security I would turn up, this weird kid, and the security was like, "Oh, it's this weird kid who just comes on his own again, and would just let me in."
Really?
That's how often I would go on my own, as they were like, "I don't think this loser should pay. Let's just let this loser in."
Sure.
And so I was extremely obsessed, and I was obsessed with what made people laugh. I remember being at college, school, even everything. Whenever anyone was laughing at something, I would be thinking, what was that?
Yeah.
What was that made them?
Yeah.
Why were they laughing?
Yeah.
But it was quite lonely. It's not cool. You know, whilst everyone is listening to bands and.
What are you
into
saying?
music.
Why are you laughing every time someone says? What are you laughing at? What you laughing at?
But you know what I mean? It's your weird. I was saying this to.
Yeah, it's not like music. It's not cool to be like. It's not like a group of people like, yeah, we're into Lee Evans. It's not like four guys with leather jackets. Like, yeah, we watch Lee Evans. You know, it's not like a band that you can buy an identity.
Totally.
Like, we listen to the Ramones. That works, but it's not like, yeah, we've seen all.
Oh, it feels a bit like that now with the alt scene. It feels
now
a bit like
it's
you can
going.
go like, I like this guy. I'm like this.
Still a very small world.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It's not music,
but it's absolutely not music, and it's much more not lonely. What is it? Music is like I know we all laugh, but we all laugh. It's not as it doesn't
the problem
feel like
is
it brings you together like music. There's something
because it's
singular.
Comedy still is part of a club because you have to understand the joke. And music, you don't really have to understand the music. It's like a feeling. So it's a much more inclusive thing. You know how like Mr. Bean's successful in loads of countries because it doesn't have any words in it.
Yes.
Stand-up can't travel in the same way. And it's playing on unique references. Music doesn't play on references. Music is just emotion. Really packaged.
I remember when I was younger, and occasionally it still happens now, and I really love this, is that there will be people in that aren't from here.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're on holiday or something. But afterwards, they'll say, like, we didn't understand anything, but you funny.
I like you're moving
Just
around, and they're like, this is crazy that this kind of mad. I love
really
it
like that.
when people don't get it, but they're like, wow, so much energy, so angry. Why are you so angry about nothing? I heard you say, I understood washing machine, but then you scream like someone kill your mother. Why? That's the best way to describe it, isn't it? I only understand one bit. You say washing machine and then scream.
I might change my Instagram bio to that. That's fantastic.
What, to what?
Shout at washing machines like it killed my mother. That is what it is, isn't it? That's great.
Yeah. And also, I would posit the theory that all music is, even metaphorically, that we're all comedians are in one ways failed musicians. And even if you didn't like music, even if you didn't want to be a rock and roll star, you are, if you could, you would. And you are a comedian because you can't.
Now.
Okay. I'm only posing it.
I would... okay. I've heard that. We've all heard that.
All heard it.
The one that I subscribe to... subscribe.
Yeah.
Is that they're failures. They're failures. So I would get rid of the music. I think that comedians tend, you know, and exception to rule and all of that stuff, but it's a hodgepodge of
Good word.
actor,
Sure.
went to drama school.
Yeah.
So it didn't work out, which is why you're here, right? Doctors. So what happened? And etc. It's just loads of people that
failed in not just music, but anything.
Anything.
Yeah.
And they've ended up here.
But then you're part of the same sort of comedian as me, which
The
is
doctors bit didn't make any sense.
No, it does. There's loads of doctors in.
There's doctors. Well, yeah.
But
There's
the
doctors,
difference
there's
is
nurses. There's teachers.
The
and
difference
but
is
they're not
Sean,
failures.
The difference is
So
Sean.
it's just the actor. Sorry, it's failed actors.
That's it. Yeah. Everywhere, littered everywhere, literally littered everywhere.
Failed actors and
But
musicians.
I'm part of the thing which I think you are, which is the 18-year-old comedian, which I think is a different type of comedian, which is like you from before you could be anything, you chose to be a comedian.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
So that's
Well,
that's what I was a
it was like
comedian from 18.
comic actor.
So I loads of comedians are like 26.
You started at 18.
18.
Well, I was 21, but yeah.
So I started at
17.
uni, but you have
Wow.
comedians on the open mic circuit who, when they're 25, 26, they don't like their job. They do a couple of open mics and they realise they're quite good at it and they fade into it. They didn't know what they wanted to do. They picked up comedy. Then you have the scary.
That still happens, is it?
Most people. Then
Well,
you
hang
have
on,
the
still,
scary.
still. So sorry. Today, you still get people that didn't want to be comedians. They fell into it.
Most of them.
That's
Most
good to know.
people, most
That's
people.
cool. I just assumed that everyone was just born now coming out going, I'm a comedian. Like I was.
But then, and then I'm part of that kind of scarier group
Yeah.
of young people who have been doing this since they're 18 and they have like a set of expectations and they're going to be the most explosively aggressive when it doesn't work out, you know? Because do you know what I mean? That's the terrifying group. And I see it. We're a terrifying group.
hilarious.
We're a terrifying group of like gnashing narcissists who have been, we've been trained to do this since a young age. And if it doesn't work out, then we're going to take out that energy aggressively elsewhere. We don't have a career to fall back on.
It's very difficult to live with.
Yes.
I can tell you.
Yeah, I believe you. You've made it look.
I know what you mean. It's hard. Yeah. It's when you don't all those things and you're young and everyone's telling. I've spoken about something else, but everyone's telling you you're going to do this and you're going to be this. When it doesn't happen, it's very difficult. You have to be quite strong, I think.
Yeah.
Quite hard because you're not just dealing with your own sense of failure. You're dealing with the fact that if everyone said you were going to be this and you didn't make it, you didn't meet their expectations of you. So you're a failure to them.
Mm.
So
yeah,
I'm not only a failure to myself, I'm a failure to everyone else. That's what I have to wake up with. How are you?
I'm good. How would you describe you've dealt with lockdown compared to others?
I think I had. From what I've seen, I think there was some. I had some sort of issues, admin stuff. That was all very stressful. But I was not someone that. Certainly. I was not someone. A few comedians have said that they found the lockdown difficult because they felt like their. Like who they were was taking away. So like to be a comedian is not just
it's an identity.
It's not just a job; it's an identity. And I didn't feel that at all in the slightest. I felt
that's good though.
I felt like having a lovely time. I was having a lovely time, but I have a very different going through Strictly and everything that came out of that.
Yeah,
gives you a very different look on life. You know, so you people scare you basically. I heard so being out in the world where there are people is quite scary for me.
I heard no, that's completely. I heard from Shane Gillis. Do you know about Shane Gillis? So Shane Gillis was going to be. He's an American comedian.
I'm going to make some more water. Carry on talking.
He was going to be on a. Can I have one, please?
Again.
Yeah. So this. A waiter in your own house. He's an American comedian who was about to go on SNL, stand up, and then they found an old, slightly racist joke on his podcast.
Right. I know of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He went on Rogan recently and said the biggest thing about being cancelled he found is that he struggled to trust anyone for a bit, and it felt like anyone could potentially be. It was like the feeling that people were a threat. Did you find that?
I don't know if people were a threat, but when you've received that much vitriol and hatred and judgment, and people have drawn up this version of you that you don't really you don't go that. These people have never met you and have this idea of you. It's totally insane. You feel that.
Yeah.
So that makes it very difficult to then. If you've been that hated, you feel hated, and you're just terrified of meeting everyone because you just go, well, they'll just hate me like everyone else hates me. It's a very traumatic thing to go through.
Awful, yeah.
Some people go, you'll get over it. I don't think I'll ever get over it. I think
You'll
about
always
it.
have PTSD.
It's all I think about.
Still.
Last night,
Okay, go on.
I sat in some steps in Notting Hill. It was about 1 a.m. because I was too scared to go home to my own bed because it's what I'll have to live through again. And this is like nearly 3 years on. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, so I had to call my friend who was luckily still up
Yeah.
and say like, no, sorry dude, I'm going through this again. Can you talk to me until I just pass out? So that's nearly 3 years on.
Yeah.
You're having to live with that. So it's very difficult. I didn't know we were going to end up here, but it's fine. But that's a bad day. And the more time goes on, there are more good days. You know, I'm much better than I was. And I feel actually upbeat about the future. And I feel like I was going to say I'm really enjoying my comedy. I'm enjoying the comedy when the comedy is good. When the gigs are good, it's like all of us. You love it. And when you have a tough gig...
Has it made the tough gigs tougher, the recent shit you've had to go through?
What it does, which I'm fighting at the moment, is you'll know, right, as a comic, when you go out on stage and you do a bit, right, and it doesn't work. I don't know if you know, maybe you've never had it.
No, not for me, but I've seen other comedians struggle.
Very occasionally it happens to me, right? Yeah.
Yes, a lot.
But you go out
Yeah.
and you and maybe you're doing or for whatever reason the bit doesn't work. You go, and what we think is they don't like me.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I used to have that before Strictly. Of course I did. I'm a comedian. You go out, it's not working.
Already an insecure
no,
disposition.
they
You're a
don't,
comedian.
Right?
Yeah.
They don't like me.
Sure.
Now, what's happened is you walked out, you said the thing, they've not laughed, you've gone, they don't like me. I mean, what's actually happened is they don't like what you've said.
Yeah.
Or even the way you've said it today. It's not quite clicked. Now, after Strictly, I go out. If the thing doesn't work, they don't like me. I go, right, they've read something about me. I don't know which bit they've read.
And you've had no control.
And I don't.
You've lost complete control over your image.
I also don't know what. Do they not hate me because of?
Why do they hate me? Do they hate me because of they've just met me and I'm shit, or do they hate me because they've read?
Or they hate me because they've read
Yeah.
my ex's statement, or they've read the articles that followed that were written about me.
Yeah.
You know, that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
So I'm there going, oh God, I don't know. And it happened I did Cambridge Comedy Festival, walked out. For some reason, I don't know what I did wrong. I went out, said the thing. It didn't land the way that bit normally landed. I just go, oh God, they hate me. And they hate this bit. These people hate me. You just want to get off. But you can't get off. You're being paid, so you're going, right, focus.
How was the rest of the gig?
Carry on. It did this.
You actually.
I did. It was sort of my fault. It was
stormy seas. You're really pulling all your.
It was my fault. I should have been more focused before I went on, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it ended. It was quite funny. A bloke in the front row said to me, I went, sorry about the beginning. I think we sorted it. I think, and he went, you turned it round.
That's lovely. That's really nice. That's
great.
really honest.
It's very funny,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed that. There was truth.
Yeah.
There was truth. Sorry,
Yeah.
it was truth.
Yeah.
But yes. So it was fine.
But if you don't mind me saying, I feel with all the, I think probably one of the issues, like Shane Gillis said on Joe Rogan about the same thing, was that not many people have gone through what you've gone through. So who can you really speak to about what you've gone through? No one really knows what you've gone through. And so when you're saying things about, which are completely understandable, about like sort of natural anxieties of like PTSD or responding to an emotional trauma, that I don't know. I haven't been through anything like it, so I don't know what to help you. But what I could say is that from the outside, in the kind of scale of cancellations, yours is so... No, not cancelled. I don't mean cancelled. I mean, I've gone through that.
I've gone through a thing, and it made the job difficult for a time, and can we get him on there? Well, we can't get him. Everyone hates him. So hey, I accept all that, but no, the future's good, and there's lots of great things. So,
but the issue still stays.
It's
That's
all
what I
in.
was
It's
trying
up
to say.
here. It's not.
But
It's not necessarily. And this is my best friend said this to me last night. He's like,
because no one
your
cares
life's
anymore.
good, and I'm going. No, I know. I know I like my life, but that's not. You can't. It's not rational.
That's
brain
the
is not
point.
Rational, and you're trying to.
That's the
manage.
point
Yes.
I was trying to say that I thought you.
We don't have to do a podcast where I go, where you have to make me feel better. No,
That's not what I was saying. I was pointing out that no one's gone through what you've gone through. Not many people, so you don't have anyone to turn to. But it is clearly in your own head, because it's not like there's people who've had issues in the media where it's not in their own head. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
You're in a different thing where you're actually just trying to recover from the literal psychological trauma.
Yeah.
You're not
But it's weird, isn't it, psychologically?
You're not recovering from still being genuinely. That's what I was trying to say.
I know. And you know what?
And that's a different
absolutely
type of situation to be in.
Yeah.
Much like Shane Gillis, he's in the same thing where for a month.
What's he do? Yeah, what's he?
So he's saying that he's saying very similar things to what you were saying.
Oh right.
And that's what I found
Poor
interesting.
fucker.
But no one cares, like no one cares about what happened with you.
Yeah. Okay.
Now both you and Shane, all you have to deal with is your own head.
Yes.
That's what the point I was trying to make.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I mean, people are allowed to not like you. It's just, I suppose we live in an age where people can tell you they don't like you. That's very strange.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it all sounds so pathetic. People don't like me. It's actually it's like the rage. I can't believe this person doesn't. I said this sort of thing before. I don't want to bang on it. Let's move on after this.
Sure.
But just what was quite difficult is it was like I read this article in I was on a Netflix show called Flinch, and there was a review of Flinch in The Guardian, and I don't take myself too seriously. If it had been my own sitcom or something, I would have stayed well away from the review. But it was a show in which I was a presenter, so you can have some. I think you can have some sort of distance from that, and read it. And so I thought I was going to be reading an article, and I assumed, because of the nature of the show and The Guardian, that this wouldn't be to The Guardian's taste. But I was ready to sort of laugh at myself. The article was actually about how I was being described as a monster, and that the show, the format of the show didn't work because you wouldn't stop me from being tortured. Now, this was to read that about yourself in a national newspaper, especially a newspaper that every day you look at the top bit, it's like mental health.
Absolutely insane.
I was in my bedroom, screaming, like I couldn't believe that this guy. I don't know if I've met him in the past. I don't know what I've done to him.
Yeah.
I mean, it was quite surreal. And we've all read, well, maybe you haven't. In the past, you've read bad reviews about yourself. Hey, I am someone that I want people to be enjoying what I do and all of that stuff. Obviously. I do, right?
Yeah.
And it hurts. But when someone is like saying that they wouldn't stop you from being tortured, fucking hell, like
in The Guardian,
it was so. Like, I don't even know what to say about that. You can't.
You don't need to.
You can't describe alt comedy, and I can't describe what it feels like to have it written about you in a national newspaper.
I won't know. And
I can't read I used to read.
There's not many people who know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and I can't read the paper because I'm like,
who are you gonna call about that?
Yeah.
Who are you speaking to about that? Because there's so few people who have actually. It's a fairly new thing, and I think it will go out because mental health people are going to be like, finally, you can't treat people like this. It's ridiculous. But you don't have anyone. People can
and also like
make you feel
it's
better.
My personal life, and I don't really know I don't know everything that's been written about my relationship that I had, and obviously it wasn't perfect, and obviously I wasn't well behaved. We know that. You can't deny that.
What?
Yeah. So, but you certainly don't expect a total stranger off the back of your relationship to be.
Imagine,
Like, you're like, what?
Wouldn't it be interesting to take all of the things that have happened in the journalist's life and imagine what position they get to be such a judgment? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you judge anyone's relationship, all of the ups and downs, they just don't have it publicly. That's what's so bizarre, is that people, when celebrities have any sort of fuck up of any sort, they're so jumping on. It's like, what about your own life? Like, these are all natural things that happen so regularly and every day, but because it's in the public sphere,
I just don't know where to.
I think
to start, and it's not so. I just don't know where to.
I know you've talked about it a lot.
All I'm saying is reading that about yourself.
Yeah. Is
very disturbing. That's all I'm saying.
100%. And also, I know you've had to talk about it a lot, so I do appreciate. All right. Remember, guys, to subscribe, like, listen to the Patreon, and where can we find you, Seann? You can find Seann late at night around 1 a.m. He'll probably be on some steps in the middle of Notting Hill. The best time to find Seann Walsh is, in my experience, is just before bed. And it's when he's at his most vulnerable. So that's probably where they can find you, isn't it?
Brilliant.
Thanks, son.
Thank you, mate.